Hi everyone, Catherine here from Inky Finger Cat. I am back with Christmas in July, day 27, and today it's Joy to the World. And I put in the folder the Peace and Joy stamps and dies and some black cardstock for a very good reason. I want to honour my friend Martin. So for those who don't know Martin Mayhem, Martin Stone, Martin's Mayhems, he's got lots of different Instagram kind of names and stuff. He's got a massive following, so I'm sure you've probably come across his work before now. If you've not, please go check him out. He is fabulously creative. And this stamp set, I think I bought it because of the card that I'm sort of going to honour and slightly case. If I didn't, I certainly had bought the stamp set fairly recently and then saw this card and thought, oh, wow, that's really cool. So I'm going to honour that because it was one of the first things that I saw of Martin's work, and then I stalked him, and now I count him as a friend. He's one of the people that I work with on some of the design team work that I do. He's the one that organises it all and also does samples and appears on Hobby Maker and stuff because of it. But yeah, if it wasn't for this card, I might not have known who Martin was and my life would be poorer as a result. So I wanted to honour Martin. Right, that being said, Christmas in July, what am I on about? I do a video for every day of July, Christmas themed, and I've done it for the last 2 years. This is my 3rd year running. We've got to day 27, so the end is in sight for me. I'm filming a wee bit ahead of schedule, not much, but a little bit ahead of schedule. So I know there's no chance I won't finish this month. Yay! I must admit, what I'm most looking forward to right this moment is clearing the desk. It's just a tip. I've had loads going on, so it is what it is. Please subscribe if you want to see future videos from me. I know I've had a massive boost to my channel this month and it's been wonderful and lovely. But I don't post videos every day of the year. So if you don't follow me already, please subscribe. Please hit the notification bell so it'll tell you when my next video is coming up, which will be especially important when we get past July. I love talking to people in the comments, so please leave me a lovely comment. I will say I've had a few comments over the month about my voice not being clear. I am not in any way a professional. I don't have microphones. It's all filmed on my iPhone. I don't really know what else I can do about it. I'm hoping that it's okay. So please do let me know if there's a tip you can give to people who are struggling with my voice volume. I don't think I can do anything about the way I speak. That's just me. So I'd suggest put subtitles on. I don't know what else to suggest. Okay, enough blathering. That's a long intro. I'm going to get crafting now. Here we go. So, it took me a while to find the card because it was back in 2020 is when Martin shared this card over on Instagram. And you can see there, I've definitely hearted it because I can see that. But wow, I just love it. I love the graphic nature of it. I love the splatter that he put in, the pop of colour. He's just so clever. Now, I'm not going to totally copy it, but it's very close, my final card, to what he's done. I change up the leaves, change up the colour of the leaves, and I change the placement of the wreath. I also have a lot less joys in the background than what he'd added, but yeah, I just didn't get them as closely aligned as he did. But yeah, it's very obviously still inspired by Martin's card. It's a lot closer to a case than I would normally do, if I'm totally honest. So, how did I do it? I stamped it in Versamarks, added the white embossing, then I splattered it with some water and added white embossing powder to that, and then I heat set that. It does take longer to heat set when you've used water because it's got to evaporate the water as well as then melt the plastic, so it does take longer, but it's a really good technique. And actually, another person from my lovely design team friends, Sarah's Stamping Retreat, is the one that I learned that little tip and trick from. I don't know why, all the years I've been crafting I'd never thought about using water, and about a year ago she did a video and I went, oh my word, of course, What a silly sausage to have never thought of it. But there you go. So if you've never thought of it, yeah, use water. Works. Just takes a little while. It makes it more splattery, if that makes sense. And it's just so easy. Okay, I then heat embossed the word joy. I stamped it in black and added the clear emboss to that. And then I'm die cutting it, and then I'm going to die cut it another 2 times from that scrap cardstock, just because I want it to be quite a chunky word sentiment. I like stacking my die cuts like this. I just think, especially if it's a sentiment, I think it's a really nice way of doing it. Dead simple as well, not exactly difficult to do. So that's my word sentiments all cut out, and now I'm just going to stack them together. A little bit of wet glue to do that, nice and easy. Gives you a bit of wriggle room to make sure that they're all aligned straight, and then press them together, and then all done and dusted for that part. Now, the bit that's going to take the time is the leaves for the wreath element. So I think Martin had used the other 2 leaf elements that are in the set. I decided to use the holly only. Reason being, it's a lot easier to fussy cut than the other elements, and I wanted a lot of them. So I decided to use my distress inks for stamping, which is unusual. I don't normally use distress inks for stamping. It's not normally what I would do, but I really wanted the colour of the evergreen bough and the pine needles, and I didn't think that my Stampin' Up! Inks, I'd got ones that were quite right. So there's not a massive variation between the colours, just one is definitely paler than the other. And then this stamp and die set does not have dies for these elements. It's only the words that you get in the set. So you do have to do lots of fussy cutting. So I'd stuck an audiobook on, was listening to that whilst I went along. Somebody said they enjoyed watching me fussy cut the other day, so I've kept this in, albeit it's now speeded up to being about 12 times speed, because you can see here I stamped a lot of those leaves, and that means I've got quite a lot to cut out. During this time, I thought I would just once again say how amazing Martin is. I want to encourage people to go check out his... he doesn't do huge amounts of videos, I will admit. He tends to do a few here and there. Mainly he shares over on his Instagram. He also, though, does a Christmas card making challenge. His is in November. I have joined in with it a few years on the run. Not always done all of them. I think last year I managed to do all of them, which is a bit insane because that means I'd done 2 Christmas card making challenges in a year. But yeah, he does do that as well. So do check out his Facebook group for that. Again, I'll leave all the details below. Okay, back to the card making, back to just speed it up 4 times as opposed to 12. I needed something to create the circle shape for my wreath. Martin's card has got a white centre to it. I decided I wanted to do something slightly different. See, look, I did change it up a little bit. But I do need a solid ring in order to glue my little leaves to. And so I just cut a circle out and then cut the inside of it out so that it became a ring. And here I go, sticking all of my little leaves down, making sure that they're overlapping and going in different directions for my little wreath. And I know I've got to go most of the way, but not all the way around. So I will keep going, and then there'll be a little part that's left visible. That eventually gets cut off the side of the card panel, which is the background. But you can see here, just using a bit of wet glue in order to get a bit of wriggle room on them, and then be able to have them so that they're overlapping but only glued at one part. Decided it just needed one more, and then I was happy. Okay, however need to, at that point I went and checked what does the card look like. Hadn't got a printed copy of it on my desk, so I decided, that's when I thought, yeah, as much as I didn't want the white, what I did want was something to just distract from the background, so I chose to do vellum. So I cut the circle from the same die of the vellum, and then I embossed it. Now, it wasn't a heavy emboss, it is only a normal embossing folder, it wasn't a 3D folder. It just gave even more opacity to the actual vellum with just that little bit of pattern on it. Probably could have gone for a different pattern. I went for one with words, which was a bit silly because obviously the background has got loads of words on it anyway. But yeah, I just wanted something with a little bit of pattern. Okay, now on to my sentiment. And at first I thought, right, I'll use this candied red apple. I'll just use my stamp block, but it is definitely not juicy enough or strong enough for that. So it needed stamping several times. So I've pulled out my stamp platform and I'm going to stamp that multiple times. Unfortunately, apparently just off the camera. So you didn't actually see the stamping part, but you can see there the stamped image. I love these little strip sentiments where it's sort of like the reverse. Does that make sense? So like the word is cut into it. I think they're so cute. Right, I have added my sentiment with some little strips underneath just to boost the strength of that sentiment and to give it a bit of dimension. Martin definitely makes cards full of dimension. This one, I didn't do so much, just a little bit, but I think all of those little cut pieces will add dimension to it, and obviously there's plenty of interest going on. Okay, time to make my card blank. So I'm going to make up a card blank out of black. I'm going to do it standard size. Now Martin always does 2 layers of the same cardstock colour that he uses for his card blank on the top with a lovely border, and I felt like I hadn't quite got a Martin enough border, so I did cut a little bit off. So my panel is a little bit smaller than I would normally go for. I think it's about 8.5 centimetres wide, maybe 13 centimetres long. It just gives it a nice chunky border around the side. Adding my sentiment with wet glue. And then it's time to add the berries and the pop of red to the wreath. Originally I was going to go with some gems, changed my mind because I hadn't really got any red that were the right colour red. Then I thought about adding the actual berries stamp and then decided against that, only because they're an absolute pain in the bum to actually cut out. So instead I'm adding some Stickles glitter glue. It's not quite the same colour of red. I probably should have thought about that before I'd stamped my sentiment in that very vibrant red. Probably should have thought about it. Okay, inside my card, I'm adding a white panel, and then you can't see very well because of the fact that I'm having to kind of prop open the card because obviously that glitter glue is not dry. But I'm just adding those remaining little leaves. Might as well use them all up since I've cut them all out, just to add a little border on the inside. And that then is my card done. So thank you so much to Martin for everything he does and for inspiring me and continuing to inspire me all these years on. So what, 6 years nearly since he made this card, and here it comes again to life in a different format. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please do subscribe if you want to see future videos. Leave me a comment below if you enjoyed this. Go follow Martin. Thanks very much for watching. Till next time, bye bye.